Nah, I'm not going to wait that long. Hold on one second. I'll speed this up. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Happy last day of summer. Hope all is well. Hope you had a good week. Weather-wise, it's been a beautiful week for us. And today, we'll go out as the warmest, looks like the entire period. Hope you're all doing well. I'm Wave Meteorologist Brian Goode. Welcome to the weather blog for today. As always, I try to get in some of your shout-outs before we get going here this morning. As we're going to still dive into the outlook for the weekend and next week. That's been the big question, right? The past several days is how that's all going to evolve. And then, as always, I try to update you guys in the longer term as well and try to answer any questions you got in the longer term while I can. Unless it has something to do with winter, then I can't really tell you too much because I don't want to give too much away for the winter outlook. Again, comes out on Halloween night. What did you say, Angie? Less than 2 weeks, I'll be on the beach. Why are you rubbing it in, Angie? Why are you rubbing it in? Unless you invited us. Then in that case, yes, we're excited as well. We're excited to join you. Which beach? I'm just curious. Which beach are you heading to? Because if it's the East Coast, be a little mindful of how things are trending there when it comes to the outlook for the tropics. Wait a minute. Where was the question? Good morning, Rebecca. What did you say, Carla? Did you enjoy Wicked as much as we did? Did you see me at Wicked? I love Wicked. Love Wicked. Love, love, love. I mean, I saw The Wizard of Oz as a kid, but Wicked was my first, I guess, musical I've ever watched in person, to be honest. And I fell in love with it. Last night was my 8th time watching it. And the songs get stuck into your head. There's no way escaping it. And the movie is a 2-part movie that Wicked will be when it comes out, which is still about a year away from being released. But very cool. If you haven't had a chance to go see Wicked, it's in town for, another 2 weeks, I believe. They'll be in town. You were several rows behind me. You should have said hello. I'm very shy. You guys may not know this, but I'm very shy in person. So don't be afraid to ever come and say, hey, what's going on? How are you doing? Because I'm the one that will hide in the corner usually. That's how I am. But definitely go see Wicked. Are you going to go see it, Angie? You're going to go see it Tuesday. You're going to love it, especially the end of Act 1. Carla knows what I'm talking about. The end of Act 1 by far is the best part of the entire thing. You'll get chills. Okay. All right. Enough about our theatrical performances Don't get me started on Wicked. I'll go on a tangent because I was forever this morning even. All right, let's get into actually the tropics. I'm going to cover that before we get into an update on what's happening. Oh, actually, no. Wait a minute. Change your mind. Let's do the countdown. Yeah, this is important, right? Countdown to fall. This is the last day of summer. Are you glad to see summer go? Type 1 if you are. Type 2 if you're not. And type 3 if you're ready for winter. Let's see how many threes we get on this one. But counting down here, 15 hours and 10 minutes. It'll be at 2:50 in the morning. You will not notice, of course. But that's all right. That's all right. We'll get, I wouldn't get up too early for it. Oh, we got a lot of ones. We got, see, but wait a minute. Les loves snow, and you put a 1. What was my question, though? Are you excited to see fall go? Okay, that's fair. So, Les, you better put another 3 in there. I mean, look and see if you put a 3. You'll be ready for a 3, all right? If you love snow. Hello, Nancy. Got a 3. I got 3 from Austin right now. Thank you, Austin. Appreciate that. All right. We got a fair little balance. All right, fair little balance there. We'll come back to that. All right, let me show you the tropics because there's a couple things to point out. This low developing off the Carolina coast. Right now, its technical name is potential cyclone number 16. That will not be its name for much longer. It's about to become a storm. But here's the thing. The next, 2 names on the tropical list are Ophelia and Philippe. And everyone's saying, and I've been doing the same thing. I said, this will be tropical storm Ophelia and going up the Carolina coastline. But here's something I at least want to mention is we have another tropical wave in the Atlantic that's about to become a storm as well. They're both right at the finish line of getting the title. So who's going to be which name? So there is a chance that the one in the Atlantic could be way in the Atlantic, could be Ophelia, and the one in the Carolinas could be Philippe. So just FYI, if you wonder why the names suddenly are different for the Carolina storm, that's why. It's a race. Who gets there, that mark first. And it may happen as early as 11 o'clock this morning. We may get one of the 2 here at least named. All right, so at least want to mention that. I'm trying to be a little more careful in saying Ophelia because now that race is a little tighter. Here's a live look. This is at Topsail Beach in North Carolina, I believe. The waves starting to kick up a little bit. Not exactly the best beach day, right? You don't see many people out there. It's kind of a rainy setup there, certainly for the Carolinas. Today, surf kicking up as well. We'll keep an eye on these cameras. We have several of them that are lined up there along the eastern seaboard, so we'll see how they look as we head throughout the next couple of days. All right, here locally, don't worry about this green. This is not rain at all on the radar. That is ground clutter. But if you look carefully, you can almost see a little bit of thin cirrus clouds kind of drifting overhead. There's not going to be too much of it, not as much as we saw yesterday. So today has a good chance to be quite the warm setup on this last day of summer, easily getting into the 85 to 90 degree range across much of the Ohio River Valley, including here in Louisville. All right, our one low that we had yesterday, it's right here and it's fading away. We have another one that's trying to move in. This is the one that we'll be watching to see what happens for early to mid next week. And then here is Ophelia / Philippe along the Carolina coast. Again, it's better organized. You can't see the entire system, although it looks like dry air is on the southern side. But you can't see all of it because the radar has a limit there on the coast, of course, but you get the idea. We'll keep an eye on all 3 zones, but really it's this one right here in the plains. That is the one that we need to watch for that rain chance. So let me kind of guide you through a couple things for the weekend that are worth noting. First off, today, again, very warm outside. Tonight, no problems. Saturday, something a little unique here because of the tropical storm making a landfall somewhere around the Carolinas. The cloud shield from it should get to about, I think it'll get to about EKU to Lexington area. But what you can't see on this is there will be quite a bit of wind that'll be back building from the northeast. So we'll have a cooler flow, almost like a backdoor cold front. But also because you're on the northwest side of a tropical cyclone, the air sinks rapidly. And if this were July, we would probably be dealing with a very intense heat scenario. But this will allow for us to stay warm this weekend, but a little bit of a drop in temperature, only because we will be dropping dramatically at night. This is very dry air that's moving in for Saturday and Sunday, and nearly, especially Saturday. Saturday should be a cloudless sky on Saturday. Sunday, we may get a few clouds because eventually, whatever happens with this tropical system will begin to move away at that point. It'll kind of get close to Kentucky, throwing clouds at us, a lot of dry air, and then it heads up the coastline. That then allows for that low pressure that's back in Missouri to see an opportunity to make its move, but it's weak. So it doesn't have a lot to kick here, but it's something. And that'll be at some point early to mid next week. I'll show you more data on that. But I want to at least backtrack for a second because, again, dry air on Saturday. Look at the relative humidity. It's really going to drop as we head into your Saturday afternoon. Now, 25% is what it's got for Louisville on this particular model. I've seen very similar numbers for that. The reason why I mention that is that if you end up with relative humidity that gets down to about 20%, especially, and with some gusty winds, right now we're thinking the wind's going to be roughly 16 to about 22 miles per hour. It's not bad, but if it were to get a little stronger and that humidity were to drop a little bit lower, we will then be into the fire danger category, and some of the modeling is kind of bouncing around. This particular model has been bouncing between a 2 and a 3 out of 10 on the fire weather index. So there is a chance we may have like an elevated fire danger kind of setup because we just haven't had any rain at all. So there's certainly plenty of fuel. The leaves, they're starting to drop, and the lack of rain. So just kind of be aware of that. If you're planning like a bonfire at your house, something to get you ready for autumn, or maybe you're already having a Halloween themed type of setup. If you're doing any type of outdoor burning, please be careful. Keep that water hose right next to you because it is a scenario where it can get a little bit out of control, especially in the afternoon hours on a Saturday. The wind will relax a little more Saturday night. But we'll watch this. We'll watch this. This is a pretty classic setup to get very dry air and a little bit of a fire danger that will show up. But that's a minor issue, but at least want to mention it. Okay, so next week, this is the Euro. We've got the low that will move in. You can barely even see its little spin, but it's there. It just kind of drifts over Kentucky. It's trying to aim toward Tuesday and Wednesday. There's not a lot of green being painted there. Just a few light showers will be possible, but at least it's near us. That's step one to get something out of it, maybe. As it drifts around, some of this will be a little bit heavier rain too on the southern side, not the northern side. So where it's at in drifting matters. If it's northwest of us or west of us, as far as being up against our area, we could be in some of these pockets of moderate to heavy rainfall in some areas. But if it's southeast of us, we will likely be in a little more of a light shower drizzle scenario. That isn't going to help much on a drought. But we'll take it. We'll take whatever we can get out of this kind of setup. That will then it's lost. Again, it's a cutoff low type scenario. So it kind of will drift for a while and then finally begin to lift away next weekend. The next low that was supposed to be coming in next Friday and Saturday with splits, one piece goes up to north. The other one is really digging here into the Rockies. This is the one that I think will be a bit of a bigger player into October. The first week or so of October, this is going to bring quite a bit of snow to the Rockies. And it may bring the first flakes into the Great Lakes. That is possible as we head into but that second weekend that I've been watching of October, that cool air. I still see us getting cool, by the way. I wasn't able to get the maps uploaded in time, but I still see that potential to get cool weather in here. But I think we got another warm spell to go through first. Not a 90-degree heat wave, but I do think once we get past whatever these lows are doing next week, we should have another surge into the 80s, then a flip. To an autumn cool blast should come our way. And I still like the idea of the October 7th through the 12th range to see that first one. Nothing too dramatic. I don't know if it need to the point right now of a frost, but I do think it'll be some chilly air. That's the way it's all stacked up right now. That's the Euro's idea. Let me show you a different way of looking at this. And this, I'm plotting differently. I'm plotting moisture levels in the atmosphere. Obviously, the darker greens, more moisture content in the air. You get more into the lighter greens and the yellows, a drier profile, because I want you to be able to see where the moisture is kind of just circulating around it. So this is the GFS model. This is for your Sunday. All right, we get into Monday and Tuesday. You'll see how the green kind of gets established right there, kind of just hovering, but it's not a dark green, right? We don't have all that deep tropical moisture that's down here into the Gulf Stream into Florida. It's just hints of it. But it's better than what Missouri's got. Missouri's got yellow. So, hey, we'll take the green. But that's our rain chance of the GFS until we get another system that'll move in across the Rockies there. But overall, that one's going to take a bit of time to get organized. This model doesn't go out as far, but you get the idea that we will have some cooler weather. So how does this all stack up? Here's where we are. Not a lot has changed. We're going to go with warm weather, obviously, today into the weekend. We'll ease the numbers down on highs just because the lows, some of you will be in the 40s for lows Saturday night with such dry air. If you're outside the city of Louisville, 46, 47-degree temperature Sunday morning is certainly an option for you all. So if you live out in the countryside away from the city, plan to get up early on Sunday and have that cup of coffee on the porch. It's going to be nice and cool out. But because that bottom number, the lows have dropped, we've had to move the highs with it. So the range is still dramatic. A good 30 to 35 degree difference in morning lows and afternoon highs with such dry air. But we had to shift the range down a little bit. So still warm, but it doesn't look as warm on the top end number as it did, which is good. Next week, the rain chance, 20, 30%. We'll kind of just, again, broad brush it until we figure out where these lows are going to bounce out at, because they're very sensitive right now. And then once that moves out, there's the jump back into the 80s that you see as we begin into October, the first few days anyway. It's after this range, after the 10-day, that's when I think things get a little more interesting. But that's going to take some time to get to that point. You're going to have to be really patient. We've got to get through the slow, sluggish, sloth-moving weather pattern over the next 7 to 10 days, especially. All right, does that help plan out your weekend into next week? Does that make sense? I mean, we're not going to get a lot of rain out of this, more than likely. Again, the only way I see that being a decent rainfall is that low has to settle a little more north of us to get a little more of that Gulf moisture into our air, more of the darker green. It's got to get pulled in, and that may be tough to do. So overall, it may be a light rain. But if you got grass seed planted, I'm sure you'll take something that just gets the topsoil wet. That'll be good. So where did you say you're going, Angie? Oh, Panama City Beach. Okay. You're going to freeze coming back home from Panama City. More than likely. Marianne, chilly air sounds wonderful. Yeah, I'm ready for it. We had a really nice week this week, though. I mean, we had really cool mornings early in the week. So while I tease us and saying, when's fall going to arrive? We really kind of had a little bit of a fall this week. It felt like it. Today it doesn't. And I don't think it will tomorrow. And the fall leaves, I don't know if you've noticed, the fall color has really accelerated in the past 48 hours. Even on my drive here and home every day, it's like, oh, wow. I mean, that tree is changing almost by the hour, it seems like. So we've had a really good setup to try to get the fall color going. We just need a little bit of rainfall in the air. Would you say, Jeff, any chance of some moisture in the air? The dry skin is killing me. Yeah, that's tough. Tomorrow's not going to be your day. Tomorrow is not going to be your day. It's going to be very dry air tomorrow. Be careful walking across the carpet. You'll shock yourself on the doorknob. Let's see, Angie, there's not a tropical storm brewing in the Gulf, is there? No, right now, everything is still turning in the Atlantic. That's the common theme. Anything that forms keeps turning and turning. The only way I see anything like that changing for the Gulf, especially, is it would have to be a little more homegrown. You'll have to have something forming in the Caribbean that will then move right into the Gulf. Then it may become more of an issue. And I can't rule it out, this pattern. It's possible. I do think the hurricane season is going to be longer than normal this year. So this is a long way to go on that. But as far as right now within the range we're able to forecast, I do not see anything that will be able to get that far west in longitude. Okay, so that's good. That's good. Have a good time. Let's see. We had some great weather in southern Indiana. Fall is my favorite time of year. Fall is mine too, and so is Halloween. I'm ready for it. All right, guys. Let me get the maps together. I got to get ready for the midday show. Again, just keep checking in with the forecast. You guys are doing great on your questions, and just check. And remember, we have a 24-hour weather channel. Who's watching on that right now? Who's watching the Wave 24-hour weather streaming channel on Roku, Fire Stick, or on the app? I'm not sure if you guys are watching through this or you're watching through Facebook at the moment, because we have a 24-hour weather channel that have all the maps, and we have tons of maps. Ryan Hook does a great job of getting all of our maps in the system, and we have fall color maps, severe weather when it's an issue, flooding, radar, temperatures, everything. We have it. It's like an old school weather channel, and the maps are on a certain rotation, and they constantly air. And when we do the weather on TV during a newscast, it interrupts that signal, so you get to watch the weather segment live. Automatically it will just kick in, so you don't have to even change anything. You don't have to change the channel, you have to get out of the app or anything like that. You just stay where you're at, and the weather segment, when it's done, it goes back to the weather maps on TV. So I hope you have a chance. Andy says Facebook. All right, well, give it a chance. Check it out. It's on the streaming service again. Fire Stick, Roku, YouTube. I think when you go to Fire Stick, that's how it is at my house, you have the two options of Wave News Now, which is the news side, and then the Wave Weather Now. There's two different ones. Click the weather one, which will be the second one, and then that'll load in. And it's even got some nice little music to it, so you can just listen to music and have it in the background while you're cleaning the house. All right, that's enough of my sales talk today. You guys have a good one. Enjoy your weekend if I don't see you guys later here on Wave News, and I'll see you guys come up on the flip side. Take care.